Hey, everybody. Just want to thank you for watching and tuning in. This segment is going to be my first ever commentary on an album. The album I just dropped was Zodiac, where I went through and I did each of the Zodiac signs in trance music. So I'm really glad you guys could be here with me today to just kind of go through the album here. I'm going to share some of the inspiration behind the tracks and just give some of my, comments and I don't know, little tidbits about the behind the scenes stuff that went into creating all of this music and hopefully, open up a nice platform here for just kind of discussion about the album and how everyone feels about it. Before we completely jump in, though, just want to also say thank you to everyone who has listened, not only to Zodiac so far, but just to any of the music that I have made. It really means a lot. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm at a place with my music career where my expectations are really low and really just kind of geared towards me anymore. I really just kind of make the music that I like and that I dig. And I feel confident enough to just share it. So it really means a lot for those out there listening. So thank you so much for being a part of all of this and for liking my stuff. It's kind of cool. So let's jump into it. This is all things commentary on Zodiac. So track 1 was a forward. I've never actually done anything like this before on any other album where I open it up with me just talking. Normally we just get right to the good stuff, right? The music. But for me, this album, it was just really important to open up with just a little piece of me just kind of getting everybody, I think, in the right mindset of just what this album is meant to be for everybody out there. We live in such a weird time for music where everything is so automated and you're reliant on an algorithm and these computer-generated playlists to bring you music. And we're kind of losing touch with this community, in my opinion, around music where people can really share in projects together. And kind of what I mean by this is just like if everything that you're constantly being recommended is coming through an algorithm and it's curated just for your taste, that means it's the same for everybody else. Like it's all getting so hyper individualized. And so with Zodiac, I just wanted to like come out with the forward and be like, hey guys, you should share this because it kind of brings back this feeling of human connection with music, right? It feels so good when you hear a song and you think of someone or something and you can send it to him and be like, hey, I thought of you with this. And Zodiac is really cool because it's like the soundtrack to your personality. Where you can hear it and you can think of yourself with your sign for sure, but then, you can immediately think of like the friends you have and you can be like, oh my gosh, like my friend is a Leo or whatever. And then you listen to it and I got to send this to them because honestly, like this really does remind me of them. So that was a little bit of the idea, that was a little bit of the idea behind Forward, was just really getting the scene paved for it's okay to share this stuff, guys. Like it really is. It's part of human connection. And as I said earlier, like this career literally has nothing to do with me anymore. I don't really care about how much interaction I get. I would prefer you guys like this stuff. So please share, and connect with your friends through music. It's a really essential part of humanity, I think. Track 2, Star Signs. Big anthemic trance track, right? I couldn't think of a better way to get things rolling when we really jumped into the album here because big anthemic trance is just super dramatic and energetic as fuck, right? I don't know if I'll beep that out. Maybe I'll just keep this raw. But this just seemed like the right kind of track to open everything else, or to open the album up with. And the thing that I like most about this track is actually like the middle breakdown part. In my mind, I wanted to do this epic like roll call of the Zodiac signs. Kind of like, from Transformers where you're just like Autobots roll out or Avengers assemble. I just wanted this epic moment of like, let's call everybody together, assemble all the Zodiac signs. And that way, again, everybody is kind of under this same feeling and energy to go into the album together as a group and then kind of take a tour of the stars again, like together as a group. I really wanted to just get everybody all assembled at once because again, this album is about moving away from so much like individualism in music, as much as you guys all have your individual signs, but bringing it back to show how everything's grouped together really nicely. There's collective here. There's humanity and connection. So that was basically the gist of star signs. Feel free to leave your comments in there. Right now, from just like streaming data, it's showing that Star Signs is like the most popular track on the album. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, let me know what you think of it in the comments. That one was a really fun one to make. I guess another fun fact about that one was the piano part that I made for that. I just pulled up a YouTube video a while back, and I just sat and I was watching the video. It was just like a living room in space. It was probably even like an animated video. But I just sat and like composed the piano riff to it. And so that piano part actually made a debut on my Instagram story several months back. I think I just said something along the lines of like, oh, perfect music starts with just like a great spacious piano. And that was the day that Star Signs was created. So, okay. Aries. This track was so hard to make. I'm not going to lie. Aries are tough, guys. Yeah, so I know a lot of Aries. I do. And it's interesting because there's a track that I have in my mind from years back from an electronic producer that they made a song called Aries. And it was always very like epic and dark. And the Aries that I know, and again, being in like my clinic experience and having patients come in and we discuss their signs all the time, but Aries that I know, I was like, I didn't get the vibe that they're like real like dark, mysterious, epic people. Like I found Aries people to be a little bit more like quirky and a little bit more like impulsive. So that was where I was like, I need to get this song that feels like that. But at the same time, I wanted to do justice for the like warrior theme and leader theme that Aries also have. So I was proud of Aries when it was done, but it was like one of the harder ones to make because I was like, how do you get a nice epic driving track and like personality to come through? This leader, warrior, they're going to be the first to just jump into things. But at the same time, like keep it kind of quirky. You know what I'm saying? So Aries out there, let me know how I did. So far, all of you do like it. But yeah, this one, that's like the only thing I really can say about it is like this one was just challenging for sure because it was such a split of like characteristics and traits. Okay, track 4, Taurus. This one is one of my favorites, like super favorite. The soundscape in this track is just something that I really, really, really enjoyed creating. And personally, I think I nailed. The breakdown part, for me, like music is so hallucinatory. And the breakdown part, like I can just see like bulls running around in like a corral ring, and you can hear like gates slamming in the background, and it just feels very like lots of hooves like hitting the dirt and like rumbling the ground beneath you. Like that, for me, that's the breakdown. It's so nice. And then I build it back up, and Taurus is this sign of like class and elegance. Like that's some of the traits that are to Taurus. And I wanted to like build up the song into that traditional then like psytrance kind of outburst where it's just like you come out of this bull corral, maybe like Spanish bullfighting scene, and then just boom, you're in your Lamborghini just going 150 on the Autobahn or something. Like I just wanted this really good edgy psytrance just encapsulate like that bull feeling. I'm going to flash up on here on the screen actually as I go through these. I'll show you guys the notes that I'm looking at now. This is basically the guidelines I used for characteristics and traits for each sign when I was thinking about how to compose these songs, right? Because composing is all about taking like a story or a concept or maybe even a feeling and really trying to transduce that into music. So that's what made, again, on my end, doing Zodiac so fun because it was musically trying to capture a lot of these traits. And again, for like Taurus, we have in here, like I was really holding on to the fact that they're like very like classy. Obviously the bull sign, there's like this elegance. I think they're like a luxury sign in my opinion. But yeah, I'll I'll make sure to include somewhere these notes that I went off of, because the other thing that I went back and forth with was just making sure I stayed true to both like the healed traits of the signs and then the unhealed traits. So we can get into that later for sure. Okay. Track 5, Gemini. Gemini was a really experimental track for me, for sure. There's a lot going on in there, but it worked out really good because Geminis, I think, are very like complex personalities. And I also think that Geminis are definitely more abstract people as well, with just like who they are. I really wanted this song to be like haunting and magical, because the very first girlfriend I ever had, her sign was Gemini. And for the time in my life, like she was a very magical person for me. So I really wanted to make sure this song was dripping in that. Because I really do think Geminis have the ability to be very magical. Some of the other characteristic traits, though, that definitely went into making this song was just the fact that Gemini is obviously like the two-faced. So we have two distinct parts of the song. You know, we build it up and we have this very like string leading anthemic melodic groove in the progressive trance genre. And then it cuts out and we get this more dark, mysterious, and kind of, again, like just haunting ambient trance vibe. And I liked that because it's two faces. So I really wanted to make sure I nailed that with the Gemini sign here. So yes, for all you Geminis out there, definitely jump in the comments and just let me know how I did. Because this sign was very special to me, and it was important that I got it right. Also, my little sister's a Gemini, so it was really important that I got it right. All right, track 6, Cancer. About this track. Cancer's a water sign, and with all the water signs, I just wanted to give a really good vibe of just bubbly ocean feeling and like, I don't know, exploration under the sea. And so I really wanted to focus on that with Cancer, just really giving it some sort of this like bubbly, watery feeling. And then I really wanted to get the very like protective of the loved ones and the nurturing sense in Cancer. To me, the melody that I come up with in Cancer is, I think, like just a very good, strong, nurturing sound. Very caring. Cancers, I feel like, are like the moms of groups. Like, I'm gonna go like total raver terminology here, but like I feel like a really good rave mom is like a Cancer, you know, because they're looking out for you. They're very, you know, just loving and loyal to making sure you are cared for. So that was kind of how Cancer went. Other fun facts about this track. Some of the chord base came from one of my super old songs, Imagine, that I made when I was Harbor back in 2018. I stole some of the chord ideas for that just because it felt good. I don't know. That's all I can say. For the sign, it felt good. And then I tried to keep a playful, like childlike energy throughout the whole song because my nephew is a Cancer and he's just a handful of joy. So super cool. Right. Leo. This track, oh goodness. This one was super fun to make, but also super hard to make because it was way out of my comfort zone. I don't make tech house. That's just not my style. But I really felt for Leo like I needed that like catwalk, high-end fashion walk kind of groove. And I needed a lot of sass. Leo the lion, that's how I came up with the words in there, you know, run kitty run. And I run kitty run this hood. Like I just wanted to make a lot of references to that like lion cat-esque feeling. Leo also notoriously just, they're in the spotlight and they demand the sunlight on them kind of thing. They are the sun, right? So again, I just wanted this track that was very distinct from all the others, which was like, okay, let's move away from that trancey sound and genre, and let's make something that just really sticks out, right? Because I really feel like that captures the Leo energy. Like they are the spotlight sign, so to speak, and that's their personality. From Leos I've met, not that they're not nice, you guys are great, but you definitely have this like larger than life, thrive in the spotlight kind of vibe. So I stepped out of my comfort zone to do this song, but I ended up really liking it because I'm just like, dude, again, I was just going off of a feeling here. So I think I nailed the feeling. Maybe for those really deep in the genre of tech house, the producers out there might be like, it wasn't that great of a tech house track, but I think the feeling shined through really good. All right, that brings us to track 8, Virgo. Virgo was another one like Leo. I felt like we had to leave the trance genre for this one because, ironically, in my life, I actually know a ton of Virgos, like a lot of Virgos. And I should say here too, my sign, I'm a Libra, so it's coming up next. But it's notorious that like Virgos and Libras, I don't know, like we get along, but it's just kind of interesting. So what's interesting about this track is every Virgo that has heard it and gotten back to me, they're like, dude, Virgo's a vibe, and you nailed it, and it works. I find that funny because Virgo was one of the songs that for me, I felt like I really made it through such a very personal experience off of Virgos with just my relationship with them, where I'm like, man, Virgos always come across as very just like fierce, very cut, very, serious, and very kind of, I don't want to say loud, but just like they mean business, man. Which is why they can excel, at building crazy empires and businesses and getting things done. But it was just like crazy my life experience with Virgos because I was just like, dude, like I'm a Libra. I want to live balanced and in harmony with everybody. And I don't think Virgos have that same like harmonious vibe as like a Libra. So I've only ever perceived them as being like really edgy and like very opposite of me. So I was like, okay, when we make Virgo, from my experience here, we've got to like break that trance vibe and we've got to make something that's just separate. And I think it went really well. And then again, the other thing is the Virgos that have reached out to me, they're like, dude, we love it. This song is a vibe. You did so good with it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I think it was smart to like, again, leave the trance genre for this track. Because I guess it's telling me that my perception is spot on. But I hope this doesn't sound like I'm bashing on Virgos because I'm not bashing on you guys. You guys are definitely here on my notes. Like, I put in there, you guys are analytical, you're hardworking, very problem solving focused, and you improve everything around you. Like you guys have that reputation. So I think I got all that in Virgo. Up next, track 9, Libra. I have to say too, I thought it was fitting how after like Forward and Star Signs playing, how all these songs like ended up being in our months of the year. Like track 9, September, 9th month, Libra. It worked out. It's kind of cool. But anyways, I digress. For Libra, this was interesting because this was actually probably the only song on the album that I didn't really reference to any like Zodiac notes for. This was just one of those songs where I just sat down and I just tried to put me into music. My vocals on this track, I don't say anything, but I put it in there because it just fit the feeling. But yeah, Libra was really just something where I really just tried to have a moment with myself and then record it. People have asked me what's my favorite song on the album, and it's just interesting to me that like the way I went about making Libra and how it sounds and just what it is, like it is my favorite. And I never intended it to be that way, but I think it maybe is just evidence that I did a good job capturing Libra. To me, the whole song just feels very balanced in the emotion. Like it never goes too far, like melancholic and too deep. It doesn't ever get too like bright and overjoyous and crazy high energy. It's just a very nice balanced vibe. And I really feel like if you're gonna try to put traits into it, like I feel like I captured that like diplomatic feeling that Libras often bring, where they really want everything and everyone to get along just right, and they're tweaking and adjusting everything to just make sure everything gets along just right. And I really feel like that it brought out that kind of character of someone who does that. So that's Libra, and yes, I'm a Libra. September 27th is my birthday. So, all right, moving on. Track 10, we have Scorpio up next. This track, super fun track to make. I really enjoyed making this track, and this was actually probably one of the first tracks that I created for the Zodiac project. For my listeners out there that are fresh off of my summer release Trust Fall, you might be able to pick up some of that influence of like the plucky synths going on. Trust Fall and Scorpio were kind of being done near the same time. But yeah, Scorpio is really fun because I've also attracted like a lot of Scorpios in my life, and I feel like there is a lot of similarities, and it was easy to get them into music and into song because they're very like mysterious. They're very passionate. They're very seductive, or can be. They have that reputation of being the sexy sign. So that was where I was like, okay, like Scorpio is going to be very easy to make. Also, for me, like just seeing color and sound, it is the most red track on the whole album. I definitely used color palette help as well for all the signs when I was making the songs. That just helped me with like tonal balance and kind of mix decisions. Because for me, seeing color in music is a real thing. So yeah, Scorpio just came out very, very, very red in my opinion, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, I have some of the traits here that I, again, was working with on the composition here. And this is just in the healed Scorpio, we have deep, loyal, emotionally intelligent, protective. Unhealed Scorpio, manipulative, jealous, vengeful, possessive, secretive. There's so much fun stuff to write about in here. So there's a lot of good words to just get in there, like how do you get this like emotionally intelligent feeling track with maybe a hint of some possessiveness and secretiveness. It was fun. So probably a favorite on the album of mine as well, behind Libra. Track 11. Sagittarius. So Sagittarius was a really fun track to bring to life because Sagittarius is known as the sign of like wisdom. And I was like, okay, it's a fire sign though. And to me, the fire signs all have some sass, right? And they have some of that like spotlight, effect with them. So I was like, okay, like again, kind of like with Aries, like, I don't want to make this track that just sounds, super movie soundtracky. I don't want it to get like overly just drawn out and slowed down and too much string work and all this stuff. I was like, I need to keep it a fire sign. I need to keep that kind of ember within alive. So I was like, how do you get that sense of like wisdom in the track? And I was like, well, let's just go kind of cliche here with like, old equals wisdom. So my approach on this track was like, let's make like a retro rave track. Like, let's go back to the like 90s and just hit everybody with that feeling of a rave song. 'Cause then you can make that like little characteristic argument that it's like, those were, for the people out there that were raving in the 90s, those were the days where, it was better, or it was the golden era, so to speak. That you often get associated with people that are, going to give you a tidbit of wisdom. They share something with you that they picked up from way back in time. And it's usually amazing, those bits of information and those bits of wisdom that someone that has a lot of experience in life can share with you. They're very valuable. So for me, I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do for Sagittarius. We're going to do this kind of 90s rave sound. We're going to take everybody back a little bit and just make the track have a wise feeling based off of the time of existence that it would have been in. Other traits that Sagittarius then had that I made sure to just really nail was adventurous and uplifting, but also reckless. I don't know why that's one that kept coming up when I would do like research on the signs, but people were always like, oh, Sagittarius can be like kind of reckless. So that was where I was like, let's put a little bit of like that like hard style, hardcore sound in that second drop. Let's just make this kind of have this intensity. And again, the sass with that chopped up vocal. I just thought it was really fun. So yeah, Sagittarius. If you're a Sagittarius, please in the comments let me know how I did. That was another fun one. Probably one of my favorite for the fire signs. All right, moving right along here into Capricorn. Capricorn is just a favorite, like from the musical side of things for me and like just mixing and production. This track is just deep, hard-hitting, and so hypnotic in my opinion. I love this song so much. Capricorn was another track like Aries that just, it took me a while to make it though, because again, the Capricorns that I know and have encountered versus reading about Capricorns as well, it was kind of a tough play on how to capture them, because a lot of the Capricorns I know are very, very like just super like light-hearted people and very in the moment kind of people, which I love, but also like the Capricorn symbol and sign is one that really builds empires. They're very disciplined, ambitious, hardworking people. Like Capricorn is a lot of the times associated with the sign of building legacy and success, and they can do it without losing themselves. And I think that's that sense of presentness that they have. So this was a sign that was like, I felt interesting about, because I was like, okay, I've got two options here. I can either try to go for something that just captures like butterfly-like presentness in the moment, or I can really hone in on that trait of these people are really, really wise, really ambitious, really disciplined, very patient. They build things. They're a very focused kind of person. So Capricorn, I really leaned heavily into those traits where I was like, let's build something that really is a soundtrack for someone that is just building something and grinding it out, and give it a sense of just total beauty and presentness where there's no agony in this building or this grind. Like, it's just who they're meant to be, and they love every second of it. So I love this song, and the piano part for it, I love so much. Like, playing it, writing that, coming up with that was just very, very nice, to put it simply. I really liked it. Aquarius, dude, I've got to say, a great track on this album in the sense of just that progressive trance sound came through so nicely. I still don't really know what I did to get it. Maybe I do, I don't know. But I'm just like, ooh, I like this. And I was really happy the arrangement. I feel like this one just is a very big song of just like a journey. It's such a storytelling journey type track, which just really tickles me. I love that so much. But Aquarius, as an air sign, I really just wanted to make it stand out as just a very airy song. And that's what we got there. So again, all the Aquariuses out there, let me know what you think of this song as, a soundtrack to your personality. I don't really have much else to say on Aquarius, other than just it's heavenly, and it takes you to places for sure. Okay, last but definitely not least, because this is another category of people that I just seem to attract in abundance into my life. Pisces, what's up? Pisces was a super fun track to do, and definitely just kind of an off-the-wall track to do, because all the Pisces that I know, they are a complex sign, man. Like, they are so intuitive, and they are so happy-go-lucky, and at the same time, they're so, like, just floaty and out there. they are delusional at times, completely out of touch with reality, but then at other times so hyperly like just in tune with everything that it's like it'll bug you with how good of intuitive moments they can have. They're very carefree, they're very charismatic, and they're also kind of gangster, in my opinion. They have a little bit of that in them. So Pisces was a really interesting track because I was like, okay, I want to capture that like that healing and intuitive component and that real like ethereal part of what a Pisces is. But at the same time, I was like, I have to get this like kind of ditzy, spacey, playful, like happy-go-lucky sense into here as well. And as I said earlier with the water signs, like it was really important too to keep this feeling of just water in there. And all the Pisces I know are always going off about how important water is to them. So, I mean, I just made sure to keep it sounding very like ocean-like with those bass like boop, 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 and then the little pre-drop like boop, like just tons of water stuff. And it's so funny how this song like has really hit with Pisces out there. Like they can't keep quiet about it. They message me and they're like, "Dude, Pisces was amazing." And you're just like, this is really cool. So, it's just a fun track. You all have to listen to Pisces because the Pisces themselves agree that I nailed their personality with this one. So if you're wanting to know sonically what Pisces are, there you go. All right, and then for the close down track, Anthem for Angels, this track made it on the album for a couple reasons. One, it's a full trance album, and Anthem for Angels is a trance track that I made when I first got started into music. So this track is about 10 years old, and I still have the original version that I made on my computer, and it sounds so amateur and so Tinker Toy. But I really wanted to redo this song. It had such an epic and incredible angelic sound in the time I made it, and just doing the Zodiac album and focusing on a body of work that was really about the stars and angelic and divine kind of topics, I was like, okay, we need to get Anthem for Angels like updated and on this album. So it's a rework. I updated it, tried to modernize it as best I could and preserve the original idea. If you guys are ever curious, I can always upload the original from 10 years ago. It's not bad by any means, but I mean, it doesn't hit the way this one does for sure. And just the kind of modernness of it and how I approached the mix and just getting it to really rock your system. The original was nothing like that. For all the beginner producers out there and even the seasoned producers that look back on their beginning years, like, you know what I'm talking about. The like stale, flat, stagnant of any life kind of sound. That was the original Anthem for Angels. But super happy to be able to get it updated and on this album, because to me now, pretty much everything I've ever done in that trance realm is existing here, outside of, I think, probably Imagine and Memories for anybody who's listened since the days that I was Harbor. So, but all of that music now is actually going to be under my discography. I should mention this. Everything that I made as Harbor is actually currently, we're merging it over to Angel District. So my discography will now all just be in one place. It's coming up, like I said, on about 10 years of making music professionally and with the mindset of, releasing it as my passion and my way to connect with the world. So it just kind of, at 10 years, it made sense that it's like, there's no reason to keep it all split. Like, this is just who I am at this time. The sound's evolved. I've gone through all kinds of different phases and feelings as I've been creating. So, I mean, if you venture back through it, you'll feel all that, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this little commentary. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it didn't drag on too much. I could talk for hours about music and my music. It's just crazy how long I could go on about this. And then, yeah, please feel free to leave comments about your signs and how you felt I did about it. So, alrighty, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you maybe on the next one of these that we do. We'll see. All right.